Welcome to Hope Blooms, a podcast from the Early Pregnancy Loss Association.
At EPLA, we seek to support women and families suffering early pregnancy loss by providing resources, education, and community. It is our vision that no one suffers miscarriage alone.
Welcome back to Hope Blooms. I'm Maria Servold, EPLA's president.
And I'm Emily Carrington, EPLA's executive director. And today we want to take some time in the Thanksgiving spirit to talk about what we at EPLA are thankful for as an organization. So, Maria, I am thankful for you. I mean that someone was asking me the other day about the beginning of the organization and how we started and how I started working for you. And I said, well, actually that we started the organization together many years ago.
Yeah. Was it my student asking you questions?
Yes.
Yep.
And it was a different student, actually, not one for an interview. It was a student I'd run into. And I said, oh, yeah, Mrs. Servold's my boss. Yeah. Technically you are. And,
but we began as co-founders.
Exactly. Yeah. And I am just really thankful that we've moved to a place where it's just, I think, evidence of continued growth, that we have, that it's not just been one president, that we've seen the growth for the need of staff, for me to be able to move away from that president's role, and that it's not just me and my ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
But that
which is where we started.
Yeah.
Yes. So. Right. Well, and I'm thankful that you are a paid employee of the organization. It feels so official, and then you can do so many more things, I think.
Yes.
Because it's like you've got the time set aside to do it.
Yeah, it's been good growth. And I mean, and that was growth that started, I guess it's been almost 2 years now. I think that transition happened almost 2 years ago. And I think it's been a good transition, but I'm thankful that we're not doing this alone.
Right.
That our vision, and I think that's coincides with our vision that, we don't want anyone to suffer alone, but that takes a lot of hands and a lot of bodies and a lot of commitment.
Right.
So I'm thankful that has continued to grow, that we have a robust board right now. We're thankful for every one of them, and everyone just contributes in the ways they can and in really good ways, and that this is not something we can do alone. We're going to distribute almost over 800 care kits this year.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, and a lot of the board has been there since the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's great that we have that long-term commitment from people who
we do. But it's continued to also grow. So I'm thankful for our original partnerships. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for our original founding board members.
And also people who have joined
and we have new board members. Yeah. So that is encouraging too, that we continue to get, and that new life, and that as people have rotated off the board, stayed involved and committed, and some shifting around of positions. And so I'm really thankful for our leadership, and that others sort of have that collective vision to do this now.
Right. And the more as time has gone on, more and more people, I mean, I even, like friends of mine or relatives in other states, have come back to us then when they know someone needs a kid or something, right? So it's like the spread of the mission continues, and then we have supporters all over the place,
right? And having that visibility, that even people who weren't there 7 years ago know where to find us,
right?
And know, people will come straight to me or to you. I know for both of us, I need a kit. How do I get a kit? Even if they're new to town, the word is out there. So I'm thankful for all the people that share the word.
Yes, because that's really how. Because we can't, the board and we can't on our own tell everyone. So we need that word of mouth.
We need everyone to be out there. So what else are we thankful for?
I was just thinking of the college students who have helped us so much this year.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
They packed 500 care kits in like 90 minutes.
Yes.
It was unbelievable.
Well, and I'm so grateful that even though this is probably not something they've experienced or even necessarily been around at all, or even really have thought about, that they were willing to, that they saw that it was an important need and were willing to help us. That's great.
No, it was, and everyone was enthusiastic and not weirded out. Everyone was just so genuine in there. And I've got, I think I've said this before, but we had just like these, 20-year-old men just like in it, like counting pads, like whatever. If that's what you need me to do, that's what we're going to do. Right. And just so many women and families. This is one that just came to me. I am thankful for the U.S. Post Office.
Yes. Our little small town post office.
Oh my gosh. They are my favorite. They are just so sweet. And they're rooting for us. Mm-hmm. They're every time I go in, they know what I'm there for. And they ask questions. Mm. And they really encourage me. Mm. How many people do you think you've helped? How many people do you... and just really realizing, how many people do you think you've, brought back from the brink? Or, I'm like, that's more dramatic than I thought about. But like realizing we're meeting people in really dark times. And honestly, like, they are efficient. They are cost effective. Mm-hmm. They have been the best option. Our tiny little postal service here. Mm-hmm. So this is my shout out to the postal service, the mailman. I don't remember what's their motto. It's great.
Oh, yeah. Like through rain and sleet and whatever. Something like that.
So we're so thankful because these things matter. Yep. And they get them to women quickly and reliably and cost effectively. Mm-hmm. So that is my shout out to the U.S. Postal Service. I am a common customer.
Yeah, they're probably very used to seeing you.
They are. Yeah. And we, they're proud of us when our packaging materials improve. So yeah, it's so important. We often overnight large kits. Mm-hmm. And so I'm thankful we've been able to do that because the United States is a big place.
It is. I mean, that's what's always, whenever I've gone in to mail something when you're gone and it's like a large kit that needs to go across to Oregon or something. And, even if it feels like it's not getting there as fast as maybe we want it to, it's still very impressive that it can get across that much land as quickly as it can.
And a day or two. Sometimes if you're in a remote location, because we're in a remote location, can't always be slow down, 24 hours. But so I'm thankful.
But it gets there. Yes. I am thankful that we have over time and throughout this year, but especially just over the last 5 years or so, built up enough funds that we're able to provide kits for free. I think that's a distinguishing factor. There are other groups I've come across out there in the country who do send out miscarriage care kits similar to ours, but usually they charge for them.
Yes, and it's not cheap, and it's a lot, and it's definitely, I think, a sacrifice on behalf of our donors and our supporters, and it's important that we continue to do that. I think that's something for me is really important as well, that these are available and that
we're not adding an extra financial burden. Because that was always one of our founding goals, was to
relieve those.
Yeah, relieve the financial burden. And so the fact that someone can just ask and get it for free is, I think, awesome.
I think so too.
Which we can only do because of our donors.
So. We can. I'm thankful for them too. Mm-hmm. They're great. They're really great and really committed. Mm-hmm. So I'm thankful for that.
Also, our newly launched bill pay program, or medical
bill relief fund.
Yes, we finally did it.
This thing we've talked about it before. We have an episode on the anticipation of it. I don't know if we ever actually did an episode announcing it. So let's consider this the announcement. Yeah. Though most of our listeners, if you're local, if you're in Hillsdale, please look into this. We'll tell you a little more. But this was the original idea 9 years ago, around this time. I was just telling someone the other day, like, how did the organization get founded? And there was sort of two tracks of like, there's not enough resources, there's not enough information. But that's not really what the catalyst that moved me. It was the stupid bill that I didn't want to pay. And I just wanted to start calling hospitals and paying them for women. But I couldn't actually figure out how to do that. And
nor are you a millionaire, sadly.
No, my husband reminded me that
he said, no, dear,
do not have all the money in the world.
Yeah. But that was the impetus. That was the thing that got you thinking.
Let's do this. And so I didn't know what I didn't know, which was good. I think all good ideas start with some perhaps naivety.
Yeah.
Ignorance. And I was like, we can do this. Why can't we do this? Yeah. So, and then I was just looking like, over some institutional history stuff. And like, oh, we've been talking to the hospital for 2 years now. And that was a big breakthrough. But now we finally have implemented the program. If you miscarry at Hillsdale Hospital or in the system at associated offices, you will receive a care kit with information about how to request financial assistance. It's got a little letter. Are you in need? Is this a financial burden? And all you got to do is call. The number is on that. In the case that, we'll try to make sure that every woman who needs to know knows. That's our next thing, right? Everyone in town needs to know this is available.
Right.
So, yeah, I am so thrilled.
Yes. And so it was sort of, logistics and, all the things we had to work through. But if you receive the kit and see the letter, it'll have you call the part of the hospital where they deal with billing and financial assistance. And you can have up to $500 of miscarriage-related expenses covered after all the other discounts and insurances are implied. So
I am thankful. I'm thankful that it's launched. I'm thankful for the hospital and their willingness
for working with us.
To hammer this thing out. And so here we go.
Yeah. All these years later.
I know. I'm glad it's implemented. So what else are we thankful for? I'm sure we're going to forget something. So we're thankful. Well, our listeners, we're thankful for all of our listeners. We really are. It's great. It's one of those, like any of our services, right? Like, I'm actually not thrilled that there's all these people out here that are looking for us.
Right.
But we are thankful that there are people listening. We're thankful that if you are taking care of yourself in listening, we are thankful for that. If you're listening because you're trying to take care of someone else, we are really thankful for that. So this would not be worth it just to sit here and I like talking to you. If you weren't listening.
Say, yes. And as we I'm not sure when this will post, but pretty soon will be Giving Tuesday. So keep us in mind. As you reflect on your own thankfulness, we are so grateful and dependent on our donors. And so keep us in mind. Yeah.
Yes. And a lot of our work, I think, overflows from a place of thankfulness and abundance. We really are. A few years ago, we did it was maybe our second year, like our whole sort of year-end campaign was things we're thankful for. Yep. And that's really feeling that heavily in those first couple years. It's not easy to start, run, or maintain an organization. And it's not something we do alone.
Yeah, but I sort of feel like, I don't know, even though my loss was before this was founded, it almost is like, it's turning that negative experience into a way to be grateful, right, for what we can give to others.
Well, and I think, too, sometimes I worry, like, have I done enough to honor my babies? And a lot of ways, like, do I think of them enough? Do I honor them enough? Am I sad enough? Like, I'm not that sad anymore. Do I ache enough? Do I do enough? I don't do what I thought I was going to do. It's not necessarily the memorials I thought I was going to do, or I don't necessarily integrate them into my family the way I thought I was going to. And then I'm always reminded, like, every day I get up and go to work, I'm expressing and honoring each one of those little souls.
Yes. By helping others, which is even better than just. Yeah.
And so I'm thankful for this outlet to do that. And that maybe I don't feel so burdened by grief because I have an appropriate place that I really feel freed from that grief. And I really feel like, that there's every day is an expression.
Yep.
And that feels different and more freeing than I ever thought.
Yeah.
I was sort of anticipating making sure I was sad 3 times a year. And I certainly have sadness, but there's such a healthy place to put it and a way to honor it and to keep it with us and to keep it in my conversation with my children. They know that I go to work to help other sad mamas who've lost babies.
Right.
They know that my youngest or oldest is the best at correcting me. You don't have 2 children, Mama. You have 5.
Oh, that's sweet.
She's so sweet.
Yeah.
But I think it's my work. I didn't have to like force a birthday cake for a dead baby. And I don't want to say that. If that is what you do, that is good. That's what I thought I was going to do. I think that's a really beautiful expression. But we don't do that.
Yeah.
But they still see the importance of their lives because
because of what you do every day.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, do you have anything else? I think that's a really good list.
Yeah,
of
that's
thank
a good
you.
list.
So, thank you all for listening.
Yes.
We really appreciate each and every one of you.
Yes.
And we would love to hear what you're thankful for this year.
Yeah. Feel free to leave a comment or share this and
send us an email.
Yeah.
I love all your emails when I get them. They always make me not happy. They're never happy, but you know what I mean.
Right.
They make me feel good.
We can sort of see what we're doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Hope Blooms, a podcast from the Early Pregnancy Loss Association.
To learn more about how we and you can support women suffering early pregnancy loss, visit our website at miscarriagecare.com or find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you for listening.